The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Geno Smith is back with the Jets, so let's review what happened with the Raiders last year. How much of it was on him? How much of it was, well, the Raiders were really, really bad? Joe Blewett will join us and break down the film, that and much more. It is the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
Wish you could have been a Jet, Fernando.
Let's see what happens.
What's your message to the Jet fans in New York?
Jets, Jets.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Please hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do so. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. A whole lot to get into. A reminder, though, we're having a draft party April 23rd. Spread the word to your fellow Jet fans that the place to be is at McFadden's in Pittsburgh. It's a free party, just like going to the draft is free. All you need to do is RSVP and join us on Thursday, April 23rd, as Jet fans will take over the city of Pittsburgh. With that, we say hello to a good friend of the show. He is all about the film for JetX and JetsXFactor.com. It's our guy, Joe Blewett, who joins us now. Joe, happy hump day. How we feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. It's exciting. A lot of new additions to the roster, many more coming in about 36 days from now. So it's a kind of like getting to the dead period where we've talked about the draft so much now. The initial surge of free agency is a little bit over. Maybe they make another addition or two. But exciting because I have so much stuff to do with all this film and stuff. So I'm excited to start diving into some of the free agents, and then we get back into the draft in a week or two.
Prospects galore for Joe Blewett. Today, though, we're going to go down memory lane. Geno Smith, he's back. And that, of course, means you dug into the film on Geno. And I've heard mixed things from people. I've heard people say, well, no one could have had success with the Raiders last year. They were that awful. I've also heard people say, well, I mean, Geno Smith has thrown 32 interceptions over the last 2 years. He'll turn 36 this season. So how much does he actually have left? Before we get into some specifics, what did you think of Geno, and has your opinion changed after watching him extensively like you have?
Yeah, I think when you have a year that bad and you're picking first, it's on the coach and the team, and obviously the player too, right? Like, I don't want to pass blame on either the coaching staff or the player. I think it was everybody contributed to how bad they were and how bad Geno's numbers were, but you look at the situation. I put up like a 4-minute highlight on Twitter of the plays where he just had absolutely no chance. And I'm not sure if you saw that, but if you want to go to my Twitter, go and check that out. We're going to stay away from that because we don't want to get copyrighted today. So we're going to have to do it a little bit differently. Going to run through the plays relatively quickly. But you had Bowers in and out. Like Tyreek Thornton was one of his, highest targeted receivers. You had Myers, who got traded like week 8 or 9. And there was even some situations where Meyer didn't really help him too much. The protection was abysmal for Geno Smith. Some of the spacing and the concepts, which I'll show a little bit about, was not good at all. And then you have two guys with Chip Kelly and with Pete Carroll who kind of have different like philosophies with offense, and apparently didn't mesh very well. But Carroll's more of like an under center ball control offense, hit some deep shots, where Chip Kelly is more like tempo spread offense. And then you have some rumors talking, that were saying that Chip Kelly would call plays that weren't even in the game plan, right? So it was Kelly, it was the offensive line, it was the receivers, it was also Geno. I don't want to again pass blame, but I feel like he could be the 22nd to like 25th best quarterback for the Jets. So I'm not like gassing him up too much, but that's a lot better than what we dealt with last year, right? Brady Cook was like the 90th best quarterback. And there are some games where Geno, if you protect him, he'll rifle the ball in there. And there are some games where he'll be even above average, but I think he'll kind of hover around like 22 to 26, however you kind of quantify that.
Well, it's interesting because Pete Carroll, who has basically laid low since the Raiders season ended and he was fired, he gave an exclusive interview to Rich Cimini, who's known him since, Pete Carroll was the Jet coach. That's how far back Pete Carroll and Rich go. And in the story, Pete Carroll said that it was on him and the coaches why Geno Smith really struggled. Everyone could read the article on ESPN.com, but Pete Carroll essentially said, Geno Smith is still a high-level quarterback. We didn't do enough to protect him. We didn't do enough to coach him up and the rest of the team. So I thought it was interesting hearing Carroll go to bat for his quarterback. He really believes in Geno Smith.
Yeah, and there's some plays like even later on in the season that he was not making that he made earlier, and part of it's part of the protection and the receivers, right? Like if you can't trust your receiver to get to the spot that they need to be, then you might pull the ball down in a situation where, hey, the receiver was open, but Geno didn't trust him. It didn't look right, and there's plenty of times later on in the season where it just looked like he had no confidence in the pocket. His eyes started dropping a little bit. But when you get hit and hit and hit and hit, no matter who it is, Geno Smith, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, you hit them over and over and over again, their eyes are going to start to drop. They're going to feel a little bit more. And obviously some quarterbacks feel it earlier than other quarterbacks. But it definitely affected Geno. But Geno undoubtedly had some sacks he shouldn't have taken. There's some times he comes off of his first read. He's not the best processor of just information. And I'll show you a 2-play sequence where, you see the same coverage and he just doesn't adjust to it later on in the game. It's like the same exact look. So I think it was more so on his situation, but I think he's decent enough for $3 million to carry the Jets through this season. Again, not being as bad as Justin Fields or Brady Cook, but yeah, you definitely tell there was problems with the coaching, and we'll look at some plays that you'll see some of the spacing on the concepts just makes absolutely no sense.
We will get into the film shortly. I do want to remind people that we have a great giveaway on the show today. End of the stream, enter for your chance to win a signed helmet by Jet Royalty. A signed Joe Klecko helmet is up for grabs. When you enter, you're entered automatically in the weekly raffle on Friday for a signed Curtis Martin helmet, signed Garrett Wilson jersey, and a signed Vinny Testaverde jersey, which if you look behind Joe Blewett, he actually won a signed Vinny Testaverde jersey in a previous Asmaniac raffle. So that is what we are playing for in the weekly and end of the stream today, a Joe Klecko autographed helmet. Huge shout out to Derek, the Kansas Jet fan, who is the first to enter the raffle this afternoon. Let's go hit it.
It's J-E-T-S, Jets. I love Fireman Ed, too.
Derek, appreciate you. All right, Joe Blewett, let's get to some film. This is what you do best, and I'm excited to watch a little Eugene Smith in the year 2025 season. Going to be in 2026. Can't wait.
Yeah, who would have thought? I know it's like an overplayed joke, but if I told you, if you went to a coma in like 2015, I was like, hey, Geno is still the starter for the Jets, you'd assume that we might have won something. But nope, he's back again. But he's at least it'll be fun, right? That's at the minimum. So let's
at least he'll throw the ball downfield, unlike Justin Fields, who just doesn't do anything.
He will. And I'm curious to see. And I know Sabo's talked about it a little bit with Reich. Like Reich does adjust his system to his players. Apparently, I haven't seen that personally, but that's what Sabo was talking a little bit about. I think he was talking about more week to week than like year to year. But you're hoping with Geno Smith to keep him under center, roll him out, take advantage of the athleticism he still has a little bit, and take deep shots. I know he tends to be a little bit more short intermediate, but I'm wondering if he's going to take more deep shots with Geno. But can you see my screen now?
Oh, we see it. All right.
You see it. Okay. So am I rolling? Am I good to go?
You're good to go. As soon as you put the play, the audience will be able to see your screen. Right now, it's just
okay. So we're going to do, I'm going to do like 6 positive, 6 negative, and then I'm going to run through a bunch where he just had absolutely no shot because of the structure, because of the protection, because of the receivers, whatever it might have been. But let me just, this first one takes usually a second to load here. Let me just.
While you load it, let me shout out Thunder Lips. Mr. Lips has gifted 5 memberships to enter the Asmaniac raffle. Hit it.
Just listening to a band called Pig Destroyer.
Waiting to die. You do know choice supplies.
La Puerta Negra.
The entire audience had to hear B singing because I'm trying to buy Joe Blewett some time here as he's loading his film clips. Thunderlips in the Asmaniac raffle for 5. Speaking of Asmaniacs, big one on the show today. Our first matchup in the round of 64 inside the extraordinary region. It's Gary 3D Boxing, the 1 seed in the region, against Jay Graves, the 16 seed in the region. We have gone through half the bracket in the opening round. We go from left to right. We've completed the left side. Now we do the right side. So Gary will kick things off here in the tournament, and let's get voting underway, and then let's get some Geno Smith film breakdown underway. Hit it.
Who's gonna be the best of the bunch? You get to pick the ones that make the show rock.
All right, vote. Your vote determines who advances to the very next round. Joe Blewett texted me that he's having a little tech issue here. He's restarting his computer, so then we could go out there and we could get the full-on film review. This gives me an opportunity to talk about a transaction that happened in the NFL today that does have a potential Jet tie-in. Andy Dalton got traded. He's going to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 7th-round pick. Now, this is notable for a couple of reasons. One, Andy Dalton was considered to be a backup quarterback option for the Jets. Obviously, he's no longer an option. This also tells me, are the Eagles open to dealing Tanner McKee, their backup of the last couple of years, if they're acquiring a new backup for Jalen Hurts? Or are they just going to have Dalton hang out with Jalen Hurts and Tanner McKee? I don't have the answer to that, but I am intrigued to see if this means McKee is available. As of now, you look at the options for backup quarterback for the Jets. Dalton was one of them. Certainly Carson Wentz is still out there. But after that, who else is really available? Not a whole lot of names. Now, the Jets can make a trade. I've been saying they should trade for Will Levis because why not? I'd rather the backup quarterback be someone who's young with maybe a possible upside. Do I think Will Levis is the guy long term? Probably not, but I'd rather Will Levis be the backup than 38-year-old Andy Dalton. What does that do for me? Like, at least let's give a chance to a guy who's young. Malik Willis was a nobody. But Andy Dalton's 38 years old. He's under contract for $3.9 million. Like, I'm okay not signing him. Other options, Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco. I doubt the Jets sign either of those players. Carson Wentz is a maybe I mentioned. Jimmy G, all the reports are he's going to go back to the Rams. Brandon Allen, Cooper Rush. I don't hate Cooper Rush as an option. Again, I feel like it's the trade market, a guy like Will Levis. I feel like it could be maybe a Spencer Rattler. Or it could end up being Tyrod again. Again, I thought it was interesting that Geno Smith was asked about Tyrod during, I believe, his interview with Josina Anderson, and he said that he works out with Tyrod in the offseason, and the two of them have a great relationship. I don't rule out Tyrod Taylor being brought back to the Jets as the backup. And I'd be okay with that, I suppose, but I'd rather someone with a little more upside, but it is what it is. On that note, let's head back to the Gusbuster hotline. I believe Joe Blewett is ready for the film review for real this time. Hello, Joe.
I really hope so. I really hope so. So I could pull it up now. Hopefully you could see it.
Yep. Go ahead. Let it rip.
Okay. Yes, I'll play these through first. And again, we're not trying to get flagged here, so I'm going to run through these even quicker than I typically do. But we're going to have a sail type concept to the top where you have a vertical, an intermediate, and then in the short, watch the spacing of the receivers. Watch them get jammed really badly, the receiver to the top. We'll talk about it a little bit after as well. But obviously that receiver to the top getting jammed as hard as he does really disrupts the timing of this play for Geno. He ends up having to roll out and he starts to shuffle out to his left, but then there's pressure in his face again, reverse pivots, gets outside, keeps the eyes down the field, throw on the run to the sideline, makes a good throw. But the timing of this is obviously awful. This is supposed to be the deepest read to the top here. Deepest read gets jammed up. Now that deepest read is cutting underneath of the intermediate read. So you completely disrupt the timing. You have three guys within 5 yards of each other. So not good spacing. The jam really hurts Geno. You have two defenders who are covering three guys. So there's really nobody open here for Geno. He ends up again getting pressured. Two hands on the ball, breaks one tackle, reverse pivots, again, keeps those eyes down the field, strikes on the sideline. So good job by Geno in a situation where nothing's happening for him based on the receiver getting jammed that badly. Again, we'll run through them all with a relatively good pace here. Let me just go down to Geno. Okay. Geno, scramble, no chance. Again, we'll play it through. Then we'll talk about it a little bit after. Okay, right after play action, immediately there's pressure in his face. Spin move gets out for about a first down, 9-yard scramble right there from Geno. And it looks like it's going to be a Yankees concept. So you're going to read deep to short here. Let's see which one's the higher route. So he's going to read 1 to 2 here. But As soon as he gets to the bottom of his drop, 44 is in his face. Why? We'll look at it from the other angle. Blown protection. Both the tackle and the running back take the same guy. 44 blitzes off the edge. As soon as he turns around, is reading the deeper concept, which is going to take a little bit longer to develop. Guy in his face, spin him, make something out of absolutely nothing for Geno Smith there. So I don't think he's as mobile as he was when he was like 23 years old, 24 years old, but he's still plenty functionally mobile. He's definitely faster than Ben Roethlisberger, but he gives you a little bit of those vibes where like he can make a move and kind of power through some arms and stuff like that. Now, obviously Roethlisberger is a lot bigger, so he's not as strong, but he gives you kind of those vibes at times. This is a beautiful throw from Geno, and part of the problem with Geno is he's just so inconsistent from rep to rep with his accuracy, and you will see that in the negatives of this review as well. 3x1. And they're showing man here, right? You got 3/3, 1/1 linebacker over top of the running back. So I don't know if it's a thing like pre-snap, he can adjust to what exactly he's reading based on the read. So now when he's reading the bottom, this is going to be from the receiver to the bottom, basically a pick route on this linebacker. If this linebacker goes over top of the rub, he's going to throw it back shoulder to Genty, who's going to run a wheel. If this linebacker goes underneath of the rub, he's then going to throw it vertical. That's typically how you're going to read it. You're reading the linebacker and seeing exactly how you're going to throw this ball. So play it, rub route, linebacker takes the route underneath instead of over the top. So that means over the, leading him, not back shoulder. And the ball with pressure in his face is beautiful to Genty right there. Drops it right in the bucket, and we'll see it from the other angle. Where
Can that be Brees this year? Can we please utilize Brees finally?
Yeah, and not just as a check down, right? Like I get he got his targets, but it was more as a check down. I want to see him exactly like you said, on a wheel route, on an angle route, as a primary read on these plays, instead of just being, again, the fourth guy because he's getting checked down to. But right guard gets obliterated because the right guard, right tackle, the left tackle were all really, really bad. But again, to make that throw as accurately as he does with that pressure in his face is very impressive. And I'll play it again from the other angle just so you can see again how quickly that pressure is there. And there's a lot of guys who do not make as pretty of a throw with the pressure in his face like Geno does there. So give him credit. The athleticism, the ability to like rip it quickly, set and rip quickly is all there. The accuracy sometimes is there with Geno, but we'll get into the negative. This one's actually a pretty good example of Geno processing. So top of the screen, I think he gets through 3 reads here. He can potentially only get maybe he only reads 2 to the top, but you're gonna have like a pole type concept to the top where the receiver to the inside is going to run a seam route. He's going to read the seam to the swirl route to the outside, which is basically just like it's like a corner stop route. So he's gonna read 1 to 2, potentially then to 3 to the tight end, which I believe he does. So 1 doesn't want it, right? Covered up. 2 with the safety over top also doesn't want it, and it's also breaking back towards the sidelines. So they're with the DB and trail, he doesn't want to throw the swirl route, and then he doesn't want to hit the flat. And what I like is the processing here from Geno, and then also the confidence to rip the ball into the backside. So it's a good processing rep from him. 1 to 2 to 3 backside. And when he looks to the backside, there's really not a lot of separation there. But what he's seeing is his receiver come out of the break, and he's trusting his receiver to work back to the ball, and he's trusting his arm strength to rip it and get it there to the receiver. And he does a really good job on this play, and we'll watch it on the other angle here. Again, 1 to outside to the flat, and you can see the footwork's all married with the reads there from Geno. So good job in terms of processing for him on that play. Let me go to the next one. And sorry if I'm running through these too quick. I just don't want to get Jake flagged.
No, this is great. More plays, the better, baby. Let's go.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Good ball location. I believe this one's another Yankee. I think it is. So the Yankee's going to be the deep post and then the deep over from the 2 outside receivers. Again, typically you're going to read the deep post to the underneath route, which is the over. I believe the over slips here. And I forget. This is not Thornton. This is the other receiver. I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head, but he wasn't very good either. He ends up falling down, and we'll watch it and we'll talk about it a little bit after. I believe this is the one where he puts in a really good spot. Yeah. So. And some people might watch that and be like, oh, it's a bad throw. It's behind him, whatever it may be. But Geno does a really good job of throwing that ball away from that safety, dropping down. So again, play action, going to read 1 to 2. 2 falls down. So he's obviously going to heavily focus on 1. And they're running, it looks like it's a cover 1. And the safety is obviously reading the 2 deep routes, fell down, starting to read Geno's eyes in as well as the receiver falling down. So he's going to start to drive down this route. So there's a reason that Geno puts the ball behind, and it's because the safety is driving down that route to help out his outside corner, driving down to the outside. So Geno decides to put the ball back shoulder and low, taking him away from the hit. So very good by Geno, just reading the leverage there and delivering that ball to the backside. Let me just get to the next one. We got 2 more positive. We'll get into the negative, and then some of the other plays where he had absolutely no chance. This is a good one where it kind of shows that he had no chance, and we've already seen that actually multiple times, 2 times in this review. The one, immediate pressure, spun out of it, delivered downfield, the scramble, and you also saw the one with the wheel where he really had no shot, but he put the ball in a good spot. This is another one where the receiver does not help him at all. We'll play it, and then we'll talk about it. But this receiver turns and looks the wrong way for the ball. And it's actually a good ball led to the sideline, but he just can't find it. So you have a flat 7 concept to the bottom right there, or not a flat 7. Sorry, it's a smash concept to the bottom. Some teams don't even read the high corner route. Some teams do. It depends on the system. It looks like they are reading it. And Geno Smith does a really good job. I'm going to show you in the other angle. What he does here is he reads the deeper route first here with a corner. He actually then looks to the flat to move this cloud corner. And we're going to see, you're going to see the cloud corner kind of jump to the outside. And that's because Geno just peeks to the outside and gives like a slight shoulder fake to it, makes that DB bite to the outside. Then he knows, okay, I have inside leverage versus an outside breaking route. I could fit that ball in there. And he does. Like, this is a really tight window in the NFL. And if the receiver just continues to the sideline, he catches that ball, but he then starts to work over the inside shoulder, loses the ball, and it would have been in a perfect spot for him. So it's an excellent play by Geno where he got screwed over by his receiver. Again, you can see with the eyes here that initially, let me just it's not cooperating a little bit with the other angle. Hold on. You're going to see, I'm going to pause it because it's being a little bit weird. You can see him read deep initially. He then looks to the flat and kind of pumps it, pats the ball, moves that cloud corner. Again, ball in a perfect spot. Receiver can't find it, where if he just continued on his route, he gets that reception. So not helped out by his team there either. Okay. And then this one's a really good deep ball to I forget who the receiver is who's number 1. I apologize. I don't know if you could figure that out quickly for me, Jake, but he hits him on a stutter go. And this is a beautiful ball from Geno. Look where he puts it. Right in the money, right on the money, away from the DB. Trey Tucker. Okay. So yeah, Trey Tucker, not great either. So I believe he's number 1 right here. And he drops this ball for Geno. So it's more of typically going to read 1 to 2 here. And I think he just peeks over to the 2 after, or maybe he's just reading the safeties, but couldn't really walk that ball into a better spot deep, and you should have a 40, 50-yard completion, whatever exactly it would be. I think he just reads the safeties there and then puts the ball again in a spot where you really can't get much better for Geno on that one. But nonetheless, let me move into the negative after I show that just one more time how pretty that ball is, and then again, dropping it, unfortunately, for him. Boom. Okay.
Great ball. Do you think he'd be a good fit with Garrett Wilson based on what you've seen on film and how Garrett is?
AD Mitchell too, because AD Mitchell wins deep pretty consistently. Like we saw in his first game against the Pats, and I'm not saying he's some stud receiver yet, but he burned Christian Gonzalez a good 2 or 3 times deep, and Geno and Fields just didn't put it in the right spot, didn't see it, whatever it may be. So I think Geno's a really good fit with AD Mitchell, and then with Garrett Wilson should really be his first read at all times. And knowing how athletic Garrett is, and how good of a receiver he is, plus Geno Smith being a little bit risky at times, I think Garrett Wilson's going to get peppered with targets in this offense right now. So going to the bad, and some of this is really simple stuff with Geno, where specifically with routes breaking to the sideline that are like working more horizontally, he tends to put the ball behind, and it happened quite a few times. I think you're going to see multiple interceptions on just this review where he puts the ball behind. So play action. With this one, he's probably reading 1 to 2 here, deep to intermediate, then would get to the flat. And it's a situation where, if you were to leave
John,
this...
sorry. My fault. I wasn't able to get it uploaded.
No, my fault.
It is a StreamYard thing. Go ahead. Reset that play.
Okay. Yeah. So play action. He's going to read the deep corner route to the deeper over route right here. And when he's like I said, he struggles to lead guys to the sideline specifically, because at this point, if he were to lead this to the sideline with obviously enough arc on it to get past number 14 right here, this is a completely fine throw from Geno. The problem is he tends to put balls inside. It gets tipped up and then intercepted. So this is just a general accuracy thing. It's not like a processing thing or anything like that. But you can see as he gets out of the play action, he reads the guy to the left first and then the over. And again, to the sideline, fine. Way too far to the inside, gets tipped, and then picked. So general accuracy with him can definitely waver where this one that needs to be led. And I think I'll go over it in the full review, but he's a little bit toesy there where he's throwing off of his toes, so it doesn't look like he gets a lot of good rotation, but that's something for a different day. Let me get to the next one. Okay, so this play, I'm going to set it up. This one deserves a little bit more discussion before, so I'm going to spend a little bit longer on this one. So pre-snap, you're gonna have the speed out here, and then you're gonna have like the drag route from the receiver to the inside right here. And I kind of, this is one I would like to get into the meeting room with him and see exactly what he's reading, because if he's not reading the outside route here, I don't know why he wouldn't read it, because typically you read outside to in here. And based on this linebacker being so far inside with the safety over the top, it's a situation where it's 4th and 3, right? So you really only need 3 yards on this play to convert for a first down. And based, again, heavy leverage to the inside, high and over the top. Why are we not reading the speed out? Because the speed out should be open all day unless 24 really drives on it hard, which he doesn't. So he either doesn't read it, which again, I would question why not, or he reads it and comes off of it, which is probably even a bigger concern. And then he gets to either, did
I lose you, Joe?
Hold on.
The Joe Blewett dark hole. Reminds me of when Aaron Rodgers was in a black hole around this time a few years ago, deciding if he wanted to play for the Jets or not. This super chat came in from Doc as Joe Blewett figures out the little tech snafu here. He says, Joe, Geno's going to be great for Mason Taylor. How many times was he wide open and ignored where the pass was inaccurate? I agree with you, Doc. I'm sure Joe will as well. I think Mason Taylor, I don't want to put him in Canton, but I think he was better than what his numbers would show. I think Joe would agree, too, because he watched the all-22. Like, we'd see Mason Taylor open, he wouldn't get the ball. They just didn't feature him. You didn't have a quarterback who could consistently complete passes. So that's part of all this as well. The Justin Fields trade, meanwhile, has officially happened. It's official. Fields passed his physical. And the Jets have officially received a 2027 6th-round pick. So thank you very much to Justin Fields for absolutely nothing. In other news, Beastbreaker says, I just barely got up. Well, when you're a man's man like Beast, obviously, life could be difficult. Beast?
I'm reading right now. I'm just doing a little bit of reading and news.
You're reading? Shouldn't you be preparing for the raffle at the end of the stream?
I'll take care of that. That's a no-brainer. And little Joey over here is having this little bit of dinner right now. Spinach and some cucumber. You know, some I'm Papa the Sailor Man, cuckoo. I'm Papa the Sailor Man, cuckoo. I'm starting to finish. I eat me some spinach. I'm Papa the Sailor Man. Doo-doo.
For those wondering where Joe Blewett went, he's having a tech issue, and he sent me a note. He'll be back in a minute. So right now, you'll have to look at Beast's stomach. You're welcome.
Yeah, well, I'm also reading at the same time, just reading a lot of junky stuff here.
Have you thought about the fact that little Joey eats healthier than you, Beast?
Yeah, it's possible. And I just had a little bit of Polish sausage right now, too. Not
all right.
bad.
We'll check back in with you. Hey, how about an update on Asmaniac Madness? This is getting pretty close. Will we have a second 16 seed knock out a 1? Right now, Gary is only up 56-44. Remember, 50-50 means it's tied. So he's only up 6 points right now on the lovely J Graves. Vote, vote, vote. We saw Beast get knocked out by a 16. Could we have 2 in the same tournament? Unbelievable. Vote, vote, vote. Your vote determines who advances to the next round. While we wait for Joe Blewett to return, I want to play you guys something that happened to me on the radio yesterday, because I really can't believe this. So yesterday was the WBC final between the U.S. and Venezuela. And I was talking about the game during my shift, and I got a call from Richard in Manhattan. If you listen to sports radio in New York, you know Richard in Manhattan. And Richard called in and explained why he was rooting for Venezuela over the U.S. yesterday. So I'll play this so everyone can get a good laugh. And then when Joe's set back up, we'll complete our Geno film review. Enjoy this one. Absolute best. So Richard in Manhattan, you're up next here on the Michael K. Show. Hello.
Hi, Jake. Jake, you can't change the world baseball. Now, that game, Venezuela-Japan, I fell in love with the Venezuelan team. I am rooting for them tonight. When I saw Acuna,
hold on hold on.
Well,
I'll let you finish, Richard.
Go ahead.
You just said you're rooting for Venezuela because you fell in love with them in a different exhibition game against Japan. You're rooting for Venezuela over the United States of America?
Correct.
Why?
Jake, I pay taxes. My father was a World War II Marine. I'm not worried about my Americanization.
Then how are you rooting for
and
a different country?
The American way is to root for the underdog. Okay.
That's not the American way. The American way is to root for America.
No, it's to root for the underdog.
No, it's
not. Well, a lot of the players on Venezuela play for American teams. All right. Now, when I saw Acuna, he was 100% right.
God.
He check-swinged that pitch. He was right. He went ballistic. Did you see him? He was going to go after the umpire in an exhibition game.
Venezuela, Richard. I'm still on this. This is insane to me because you
I
fell
just
in love
love the
with
way
them in an
I love
exhibition
their
game.
passion. Okay, here's reason number two.
I love the
First
U.S.'s
of all,
passion.
I like the corner. I love the Miguel Cabrera holding him back. I thought that was fantastic. This was like Game 8 of the World Series to me. Okay, then what
So
they
root
did.
for your country.
Wait, but Jake, let me finish. When they bunted or attempted to bunt in the 8th inning with a 2-run lead, man on second, nobody out. Aaron Boone hasn't done that in 7 years with the Yankees. That's my style of baseball. He tried it once, the manager saw it didn't work, and then went back to regular thing. That's fine.
Good luck to your Venezuelans tonight, okay?
Okay, now.
All right. Thank you very much. I can't listen to this anymore, Richard. Come on. Did he say his dad or his grandpa was a World War II veteran?
He said father.
He said his father was a World War II vet, and he's rooting for the Venezuelans in the World Baseball Classic Championship game later. How does that make any sense?
Also because they bunted to move a runner over and then failed to get the runner in. And even though it failed, he likes to see that they did that.
What are we doing? And then he's like, well, Aaron Boone would never. Aaron Boone's not the manager of Team USA. Hopefully Mark DeRosa is aware that this is the championship game tonight. He should play his best lineup. The great Richard in Manhattan, everybody. Unbelievable. We head back to Joe Blewett, where the StreamYard technology continues to get the best of him, which I've been there many times, Joe. Don't worry.
That if that was anti-American, that clip, and what is also anti-American? StreamYard.
That's right. It's for communists. Unfortunately, they have the monopoly on the market right now, which I am working on something with that, but hopefully that happens at some point.
Yeah. This is brutal. So hopefully you can see my screen and stuff now. Brutal. StreamYard is just being a pain in the ass. But can you see it?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know how much you saw into the last one where I kind of it just everything lagged. So you have so let me set up the situation here. 4th and 3, 3 minutes down. You're 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You're down by 11. So you only need 3 yards here. And there's the base like pre-snap here. You know, obviously this is going to be a speed out. You have the linebacker inside and you have a DB high. So as long as this linebacker doesn't get out immediately, if this DB stays high and he doesn't immediately bite down into the flat, you want to throw this speed out. And I'm not sure if if he reads it, or if he reads it and skips it. So I don't know why they're not reading it. If he doesn't, it looks like he might peek into the flat right there. I think he does. And I'm not sure why he doesn't throw this. Again, you only need 3 yards. The stick is the 40. So you need to get to the 40-yard line right here. This should be an easy throw to the outside shoulder where he just gets a first down. He then gets his eyes to, I believe, the 2, or again, the 1 if he doesn't read the 2. And it's another situation where you only need to get to the 40. He's open right here past this linebacker enough to just fall forward to the 40-yard line, catch the ball and fall forward. Doesn't hit that either. And then you're going to see a situation where he feels some pressure. and then he throws the ball away, which is obviously terrible, right? Like at least, chuck the ball up or something, but 4th and 3, throwing the ball away, not ideal from Geno. Again, it does look like he peaks to that speed out right there quickly, doesn't throw it, skips the wide open guy there. Again, starts dancing around in the pocket, doesn't find a guy to give to throw the ball up to and give a shot, throws the ball away, 4th and 3, obviously less than ideal. So next one. This one's like a 2-play sequence. So if this one's a little bit more intricate. So what I want to set up is the Bears are going to run what I call cover 3 replace here. And it's a 3-by-1 set. So that's the thing you want to pay attention to first. Okay. So we'll talk about cover 3 replace. We'll talk about the 3-by-1 set right here, or just notice it. And we're going to store that information for later. Okay. So they run, it's like a dagger concept. They have double post here, and I want to give you a few ways you could read this. We'll play it first through, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. And this is a pick where Jakobi Meyers does not help Geno there at all. Now, maybe Jakobi Meyers expects that ball back shoulder because of the safety dropping down, but you do want to see him fight for that ball a little bit harder. We could see he kind of gears down, and then it doesn't fight for the ball. But you could read this a few ways. So one of these routes could either be a clear out, or you could truly read 1 to 2 to 3. Or this is a clear out, 1 to 2. This could be a clear out, and it's 1 to 2. I don't like to speak in absolutes because different systems read things different ways. But you're going to be reading this middle of the field safety. Does he carry? Does he not? And what happens with cover 3 replace, if there is a deeper breaking route, the deep safety in the middle drives down on it, and then the DB to the outside replaces that zone. So he gets over the top. So drive down, 24. Comes over the top to then replace that middle of the field zone. And that's how they respond to a 3-by-1 set. Okay. So, again, doesn't hit either one of these guys to the inside. That's fine. Gets to the deep dig, safety dropping down. You either got to fit that ball in there, put it back shoulder. Jakobi Meyers gears down, lets the interception happen. So not getting helped out by the receiver a lot. And the first play is not even the biggest problem. It's that this happens again, like a drive or two later. They have the same exact answer versus a 3-by-1 set. And Geno Smith throws another ball that I believe is intercepted or deflected. But again, 3-by-1, cover 3 replace. Okay. So I put same interceptions, a little bit different, but 3-by-1. The last time it was attached, it was more of like a nub set where this is not attached, but still 3-by-1. So are they going to play it the same way? And this one is, again, this could be a read where it's 1 to 2 to 3, or this could be the clear out from the inside. And then they're going to read it like a true spin concept, which is going to be short to deep. Either way, it's similar where the inside route, whether it be 2 post or the seam route, is going to hopefully carry this deep safety. What happens is he drives down. He starts to drive down on the crosser. He replaces the zone. So we have another cover 3 replace versus 3-by-1 just a few drives later. So you'd anticipate that Geno Smith would know that this is how they respond to 3-by-1 sets. This is the coverage they're going to run. So the ball either has to be out earlier from Geno to fit it in before 31 drives down on it, which is Bayard, or he has to put it back shoulder. He leads them right into interception. And I do think that he looks off this defender here. He peeks into the option route right there, gets him to drive on it, but he still needs to get the ball out earlier. He takes like an extra hitch or two right there. Ball is out late. Ball is not behind. Interception. So it's like, hey, this literally just happened to you versus with a similar concept, dagger, and you didn't like process that and see that, hey, this may happen again. So don't love the processing there from Geno, or just like putting drive together, and this is how they respond to certain sets. So don't love the processing there. I got 2 more of the negative. Bad throw, interception. I think this is another rollout. Okay, yeah, another one where he puts the ball too far inside for Jakobi Meyers here. Play action, roll out to the right, and the ball is too far inside, where if he leads it to the outside, it is open. So another situation where you're going to read deep to intermediate to the flat. Deep is all covered up. The intermediate on the deep over is open, right? He just has to put enough on the ball to the outside so this defender and trail can't undercut the route. Doesn't put enough on it. Interception, which is obviously frustrating from Geno Smith. So again, it leads him. It'd be perfectly fine, but he can't put the ball exactly where he wants it, and that's a concern with him. Next one, this is the last of the bad plays, and we'll get to some of the no chance plays. We'll play it through first. I kind of forget about this one a little bit, but let's see. Okay, so to the top, another one of those like hawk concepts that I call them, and another interception here. So the problem here with Geno is, and again, this is some teams read this, or it's just a straight up clear out. And with this corner is the conflict. So if this corner doesn't match, and you could fit the ball into the honey hole before this safety drives over, fit the ball into the one, or what I'm assuming is the one read here. Again, if he bites hard on this, hit the hole right here. If he stays and he matches that out route, you obviously can't throw the out route, and they're running what's called a palms or a 2 read. So basically they're going to play this like cover 4 if these guys both go vertical. So I got a little ahead of my skis. I want to explain a little bit first, but if he goes vertical, safety has it. If he cuts out, this corner drives down on it, safety gets over top of the one, and that's how the coverage reads. So they're reading the 2. That's why it's called 2 read. So they're reading the 2. Again, he cuts out, he drives down, and this is relatively simple. Like, this is not a very complex coverage from the NFL. And he could see DB, like his body language, he's very far inside of this. His eyes are to the inside, so he should see that all day. See, he drives down before Geno is throwing the ball, so he should definitely see that he should not throw this route. Drops back. I'll play it kind of just frame by frame. Again, he's driving down very hard right there. Like, we cannot throw that ball. Geno throws it. DB the DB bites down on it. Obviously gets the interception. So a pretty generic 2 read coverage there, and Geno doesn't see it. Throws a bad pick. So again, some of the processing stuff is frustrating. You see again the 3x1 set, how they responded to it. Another 3x1 set. A couple of plays later. Same situation, throws a interception. Let me get to, I got 7. I'll do these really quickly for the no chance for Geno. So this one, and do not be too down on Parm. I don't know what happens here and why they don't pick up the linebacker, but we have 2 things here. One, you have what seems to be a post wheel here. So typically you're going to read post to wheel, and look at the spacing here. But by these guys, like, you're covering 2 guys with 1 here because of how badly they're spaced, and they run into the same exact spot, which really does not help Geno out at all. So that's one problem. The spacing is horrific right here from the receivers, and it's a deeper developing concept. And there's pressure in his face as soon as he gets not even to the bottom of his drop yet, and there's pressure in his face because I'm assuming it's Parm here who blew this, unless there was supposed to be a slide from the center to the left, but. Not sure what's going on there. Pressure immediately in his face. Absolutely no shot for Geno. Let's see. No chance on this one too. And so this is another protection thing where it looks like we're reading a deep mesh here. So we're going to go 1 to 2. And again, right off the jump here, there's pressure in his face. So really not much you could do there from Geno. And I don't know what the hell they're doing here in terms of their protection. And I'll let it play first. Then I'm going to rewind back to this view just to talk about a few things with this protection. Cause it seems like they're in a modified 2 jet here, where basically it's going to be center to left tackle or tight end are going to slide to their left, and then right guard to right tackle are going to slide to their right, and then the running back is going to block. It's typically a linebacker, but we'll call it like a modified 2 jet where he's going to take the D tackle. So that's fine. But then my question is here: why are 2 guys taking 1 and leaving the edge unblocked here? And there are some situations where it's called like a molly exchange or a molly block, where the tackle would block the guy right here, and then the guard drops back and then blocks the edge. So it could be a molly, but he doesn't get back quick enough to pick it up. So I don't believe it's a molly. So I don't know what the hell is going on here with the edge protection there for Geno. Again, no chance to read it. Get sacked. Let's go to play 64. No shot, 3rd down for Geno Smith. And again, like, look how quick the pressure comes for Geno, where there's nothing open. And he typically with these where it's like the mesh overs, you're going to read 1 to 2 to the over route. And when he's getting to the bottom of his drop, immediately a guy in his face, there's nothing open right here. What are you supposed to do on 3rd down there? Like, there's nothing open, and there's immediately a guy in his face. So again, you can see like there's definitely some plays where it's him, but then there's definitely plays where it is not him. The left guard gets demolished there. That is not Parm. Do not worry. I think he got a little bit banged up in this game at that point. So let's move on. This one's relatively easy to break down. I'm just gonna let this one roll a little bit, Jake. I know I'm flying through these, but reads left, angle route, running back in his face or hits him in the face mask, ball pops up, right? So
something the Jets didn't get the benefit of once the entire season somehow. Like that is just pure luck. Like, come on.
Right. And this is why, like, you can't just read stat sheets, because, like, let's say this is the only interception in the game. If you just read stats, it's like, oh, he threw a pick this game, bad game or whatever it is. But if you hit your guy in the face mask and it bounces off his face or his chest, like, is that your fault? So he peeks to the left here. And he doesn't, if he is reading this truly, then there's two guys over the top, deeper developing concept comes off of it. And then you have like a drag and follow to the bottom, or a Texas, depending on how he reads it. Like a drag and follow truly would be 1 to 2. This could be a clear out, and it's the Texas concept where it's 1 to 2. It all depends on exactly how the Raiders and Chip Kelly read it. But he gets his eyes to obviously the angle route. Again, quite literally hits him in the face, I believe. And it's an interception. So I don't know really what he's supposed to do in this situation. So, like, yeah, you got to take things into context with Geno Smith. So obviously not ideal always from him in terms of like the play and the processing, but there's also plenty of plays where he just is not getting any help from his guys. This one is another one where it's not a pick or anything like that, but this is a relatively simple concept in the NFL, and I'll just keep letting it play, but it's a hang concept. So you're going to, on this one, the reads are going to be inside right here. I want to call it a hook route to 2 to 3 with Genty getting into the flat quickly. And he does a good job of getting to the ball to the right place, right? Doesn't want to throw the hook, inside breaking route, defender sitting there. And then this is a conflict defender. Does he get wide enough on this where he could throw the curl route behind it? Yes, he does. DB over the top. This is a route that you should definitely hit. Geno Smith sees that window, goes to throw the ball, does a good job delivering it. Problem is, number one, slips out of the break. And then when he gets out of the break, guess who doesn't fight back to the football? Number one. DB Tucker gets his hand on it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Trey Tucker doesn't get his hand on the ball. So he slips and then he doesn't fight back for it. Pass deflection on a play where a semi-decent receiver fights back to the ball. And we're talking about a completion and not a incompletion. 2 plays left. Running through a lot of these plays. Geno, no chance. I forget what this one is. So let's play it and then we'll talk about it. Play action. Like, dude. One, you have two things here. One, there's immediate pressure. Parham gets beat. We'll talk about him another day. He's all right. He's not great. He gets beat immediately by Quinnen Williams. The right guard gets beat immediately. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to check the ball down. There's 2 guys right in your lap at the bottom of your drop. Gets the ball to Genty. This ball is not tipped. It looks like it might be, but it's not. If you look from the other angle, it's definitely past this guy. Genty drops the ball. Right? So, again, not helped very much. Obviously, that's awful protection and awful pass catching. Last one here, drop. We have that zipper motion coming from the outside to the inside, and then he breaks back to the outside. So this one, let's watch it first. We'll talk about the reads. I believe it's going to be deep to the flat there, and a situation where Tucker again is open, hits him, drop, right? So now it's a situation where Geno should have converted that play. The ball is right in his breadbasket, but his catch technique is horrific here. Look how wide his hands are as he goes to catch that ball. This is not how we want our hands. Too wide. So comes off of the one, right? Bowers, gonna be his first read. Get the eyes to the flat. Outside leveraged on a speed out. Hit him. Does. Look how wide his hands are as he's going to clap on that ball. We want our hands tighter. Doesn't convert. So I said a lot there, Jake. It. We're done.
The Eugene Smith breakdown. All right. I'll tell you what. I don't think Geno Smith is elite. I don't think he's going to give us the Fitzpatrick year. I think it is so obvious he is light years better than what we watched on the field last year from any of the quarterbacks. So that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, it's definitely not as bad. The frustrating thing with Geno is like the processing's just not great. Like he can come off of his reads too quickly. He can hang on to him for too long. I don't think his pre-snap reading is great, but he's not as turnover prone as Justin Fields is. He's more accurate than Justin Fields is. There are some really good flashes of good processing. Like we saw that one play, 1 to 2 to 3, backside to 4, processes his leverage, fires the ball in there. But then there are very frustrating moments as well with Geno. So that's why I said, like, 20th, 20 to 25th, 26th best quarterback. On some good days, he could be better than average. But the problem with Geno is just how inconsistent he is with both accuracy and the processing, where at times he does it well and other times he looks completely lost.
Smells like a 5-win team if he's in that range. 5-6 win team.
Yeah, with this, and like we don't want to get too early into the schedule, but if everybody meets their expectations, obviously not going to be an ideal season for the Jets in terms of schedule wise either. So yeah, I would say 5.5 wins is fair for the over under. I'll be positive 6, maybe hopefully 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are presented by FanDuel. Joe, did you know that the Jet win total at FanDuel right now is 5.5 on the FanDuel odds?
Yes, yeah. I think we talked about this last time. Betting fade. If I had to, I'd probably go under. I want to have positivity, and I like a lot of the moves that they made this offseason. But the most important thing is head coach, which we don't have a lot of faith in, and I don't have a lot of faith in the quarterback. Better than last year, but I would probably hit the under. But it is what it is. Like you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, like I want the Jets to win, man, and we got the best listeners in sports, so we're always grateful for that. Speaking of which, I want to give a shout out to a new listener, Joshua Levine. He sent me a Venmo and he wanted to gift 10 memberships. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it because Josh hasn't figured out how to do it. Josh, if you're watching live, you have to gift from a laptop or desktop. It will not let you do it from the iPhone. So here we go. I'm going to gift right now on behalf of Joshua Levine 10 memberships that he paid for. He also made a donation to the Beast Breaker Guinea Pig Cage Fund. So I will be taking care of that one as well, Josh. But here are 10 memberships. Again, these are not from me. These are from Joshua Levine, who was nice enough to send me a Venmo to support the show. So 10 memberships right now. Ladies and gentlemen, hit it. The Guinea Pig Cage Fund, folks. That is a real thing. That if you were watching earlier today, you know exactly what I'm referencing. Here we go. The following 10 people just received a membership from our guy Josh, Yankees Rock, Charleston Jets Rube, Dennis 1492, Wills Renzel. Oh God, Renzel, you're still watching the show? Leave, dude. You are the worst. Rick Faraday, Jeffrey Shadeen, Charles Saunders, Sergio Cavantis, and Marcus Clark, all receiving a gifted membership from Joshua Levine. So Joshua, thank you, man. I got you down in the raffle. If you want to call in, now's the time. We're talking with Joe Blewett. Got some super chats to get caught up on here. This one is from Doc Jet Fan, who says, today's raffle prize is a Curtis Martin hand-signed guinea pig cage. Put my 2 in for Mr. Beast, please. Doc, well done, sir. And I got you down. M123 says, this film makes me want Ty Simpson at number 2. I don't know where you stand on Ty as high as number 2, but I know you've been more positive on Ty than many others. Just give us your thoughts right now on Ty Simpson and your thoughts on where he should go if you're kind of breaking down what you know about quarterbacks, the draft, and where he compares.
Yeah, I think he's a mid to late round first or a late first round pick. I think the film is good, and I've shown that on the show. But certain evaluators and certain people, if he hasn't played enough game, like I know you've recapped on this show plenty, like under or whatever it is, 15 starts. I think Cam Newton's the only guy to really work out with a historical outlier in terms of number of starts. So if that's your opinion on him, I completely understand. But I think the film warrants him being like a mid first round pick, and I think the lack of starts probably knocks him down to like a late first. I could see him in some drafts being a second round pick, but this isn't the strongest draft, so I do think he's going to be probably later first. I think there's an opportunity. I think the Jets may take him at 16, but then I could really, if I had to bet, it's probably like Steelers are they 21, 22? I think the Browns have a late first as well. So I would anticipate it being the Browns or the Steelers late first, but I think he's a real possibility for the Jets at 16. I think if he played for another year, he would be talked about higher. I don't think the film was as bad as some people think it was late. And I don't want to make excuses for him, but realistically, just like Geno, you saw in some of those plays, like he was getting crushed. It was similar for Ty Simpson. And then I get like, I don't want, excuses, but I think excuses more context. Like I'm not saying it stuff or pulling things out of thin air. Like you could see it on film that he wasn't helped out so much. So you have to take that into context as well. But the lack of starts thing I understand, and the lack of size and some of the injuries, I understand him being like a early second, late first.
100%. And I think he's going to be overdrafted because naturally that's what happens with quarterbacks. But I do think there's a chance, Joe, that he could make it to 33. Because if he gets by Arizona at 3, I don't think he'll go there. Miami at 11, Pittsburgh at 21, and gun to my head, I don't think the Jets right now will take him at 16. There is a chance he does make it to 33, and I would take him at 33 if he made it.
Yeah, I would definitely be happy at 33. I think that's one of the more ideal picks at 33 because there's not like so much pressure on Simpson at that point, being a second round pick. And I think realistically, like if you take him at 16, he doesn't work out. It's not like you can't take a quarterback next year because the staff is not, it wouldn't be here, right? Like everybody get fired, and then the new staff wouldn't be tied to Simpson, so they could take a quarterback. But I don't think there's as much pressure to play him if he is that second round quarterback for the Jets this year. It's just the concern of like, do they rush him because they are trying to save their jobs? And if they start out 1-4, 1-5, 1-6, fans are gonna be screaming for Simpson. Is he put in too early? So that's the concern with Simpson for me. But I think there's an opportunity for him to be there at 33. But gun to my head, I would say probably not. I think somebody either moves up for him or the Steelers or the Browns nab him in the late first.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Sam writes in, are there plays Geno adjust his protections? Is he changing plays pre-snap?
Yeah. It seems like they gave them the flexibility to adjust his protections. Now, calling plays or changing plays pre-snap, it's hard to tell. But there was definitely some adjustments at the lines in terms of protections and things like that. But again, he wasn't helped out a ton with the offensive line. But when you have an offensive coordinator who's also calling plays that aren't in the game plan, it was not put in an ideal situation. So he had 19 touchdowns, 17 picks, right? So not the best, or was it 17 touchdowns, 17 picks? I forget exactly what it was with Geno. But I think on the Jets this year, you're probably looking at high 3,000s of in yards, like 24, 25 touchdowns, 15 picks, 14 picks, which is again not great, but it's not Justin Fields level bad.
19 touchdowns, 17 interceptions for Geno this past year, and he's had 32 total INTs over the last 2 years. I think it'd be an interesting exercise. Go back to his last year in Seattle and see if there's anything notable that you can compare it to. I don't want to put more work on your plate, Joe, but I do wonder, like, what did it look like when he was in Seattle before he got traded to the Raiders?
Yeah, I want to watch the year even before, like his year where he went off with the Raiders or with the Seahawks. It's not even the last year he was on the Seahawks. It was the year prior to that where I want to see exactly what they were doing. Now, obviously, those years, like you had Metcalf, you had a good running game, you had Tyler Lockett, who was obviously younger at that point, so the talent around him was definitely better. But in terms of like structurally, I'm curious to see if they how different the offense was for Geno with the Seahawks, no doubt.
Cisco Lopez has gifted 10 memberships. Shout out to Cisco. He won a Name It sign helmet on the show the other day. Will he add a Joe Klecko sign helmet to his mantle? That is our raffle prize at the end of the show for those of you just tuning in.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
Well, many people have written Geno Smith off again. Jet fans, write in the comments your thoughts on the film review with Joe. Any questions, make sure you ask them. Last chance to get in on the conversation. That way, Ralphie with a super chat, he cuts the line and is in the raffle for 2. The 3 touchdown throws by Simpson versus Auburn were absolute dimes. Not sure if Joe saw that game film. Did you watch Simpson versus Auburn?
I watched every single rep of Simpson his entire year. So yes, I did 134 plays on him. So I did that game. Do I remember that game specifically? I would be flat out lying to you if I said, yeah, I remember that, because I probably watched it 2,000 snaps ago or more. But yeah, like I don't want to be the defender. It's all out there. Digest it if you want to, or or not. But there's definitely something to the claims of he wasn't helped out as much as some other guys. So there's definitely some good games in there.
Shake and Bake, good to hear from you, Shake and Bake. He says, can we safely say we're out on BTJ? If so, Mekhi Lemon or Carnell Tate or Denzel Boston, are they viable options? There is still a need for wide receiver 1/2. I don't think we could sit here and say that the Jets are out on Brian Thomas Jr. for sure, because things change rapidly. And we still have a month and change before the draft. That said, I think whether they get BTJ or not, like I'm still targeting receiver as a huge need for this team. They need weapons, especially if you want to have any chance of making this work with Geno for a year. They need more than what they currently have. That is for sure.
What is your opinion on BTJ? Because like I feel like I'm more lukewarm on it than some fans, where I feel like a lot of fans are like slam dunk 44, send it, but there's a reason they're getting rid of him, right? Like that's my concern. It's not like, oh, we're just robbing them for no reason. If he's not happy or whatever is going on with the Jags, where he dropped from what he had like 1,300 yards in his rookie year to like something in the 700s last year. Why'd that happen? Is he a malcontent? If he's not happy with the Jaguars with his role or whatever's going on, is he gonna be happy with the Jets and Geno Smith as his quarterback? So like, what is exactly happening there? So I'm a little bit more lukewarm than other fans are on BTJ. So I don't anticipate it not happening. And then is Mekhi Lemon or Cardinal Tate or Denzel Boston? I don't think you should lump in Boston with Lemon or Tate. I'm not a big fan of Boston. I would be okay with him at 33, 44, or I'd be like pretty lukewarm on him at 33, 44. I think he's in the conversation for me, but I've seen some mocks with him at 16. If he's grabbed at 16, I'm going to be very disappointed. I'll be transparent. But yeah, I think there's a need for receiver 2 and receiver 4, right? Because living in an 11 personnel world, that fourth receiver is going to come in quite a bit just because, you know, to relieve somebody or by injury, you know, you're anticipating one of your guys going down for a few games. And right now your receiver 4 is Isaiah Williams, you know, Arian Smith. So they need a depth guy. We were talking a little bit before we started recording. Maybe it's like a Tyler Lockett, just a veteran guy who's in the right place, right time, but they need something at receiver 4. So yeah, I think that's the biggest need on the team right now is receiver 2, 4. And then to me, I would argue another interior offensive lineman's a need for the Jets.
I agree. And I guess 44 would be the absolute most I'd be willing to consider trading for BTJ. Because again, a guy that had 1,300 yards as a rookie, why is he available? Like Liam Cohen's a really good coach. You can't find a way to make it work with that guy. That's a red flag for me.
Yeah. And like, it's not like Jacoby Myers is Justin Jefferson, right? Like Jacoby Myers is a 2. Like, I don't think he's anything really better than that. So for a guy who was dominant in his rookie year, like there's a reason for the fall off. And if he's like not willing to go over the middle against safeties and linebackers and stuff, again, for a Jaguars team who made the playoffs last year, then what is he going to be like with the Jets? So there's a reason they're looking to get rid of him. I'm not so gung-ho on 44 send it because the Jets fan side of me is like, if it's not working out there, what's the chances of it working out here? I typically assume the worst with that stuff. So I'm not so hot on BTJ.
I think that's totally fair. Hey, I have a question for the audience. Who wants to be a hero? We are 2 subscribers away from 44,700. So we need 2 of you to click the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. How about this from the Lup Man? He's fresh off an Asmaniac Madness victory. And according to our research, Luppy was the first ever Asmaniac to win an Asmaniac Madness matchup and win the Raffle prize on the same show. Luppy yesterday won a signed Vinny Testaverde jersey that is on its way to his home on Long Island. Luppy, hit the Jet chant. Let's go. Shout out to the Lup Man. All right, let's do a couple calls with Joe before we wrap this up. And the Doc is first on the line today. Doc Jet fan started off. Hello, Doc.
I don't know how much this is for Joe, but maybe. I hope that based on my 2 months of calling into the show, which has been a real pleasure, that you can agree with me that I try to bring in a different take. I try to research it. I try to be thoughtful and analytical. This won't be one of those calls. I'm calling in for marital advice, maybe from both of you. So here's the deal. Yesterday in the mail, my credit card statement came in, and there were a list of super chats that were this long. And my wife opened up the mail, and she said, what is this? And I explained to her, that I call into a great show and the whole thing. And she said to me, but you can talk to me for nothing. And I said to her, you get what you pay for. Was that a mistake?
Joe?
You get what you, yeah. So I could tell you, I was just locked up with my wife for a month and a half because I had a kid. So I understand wanting to talk to somebody else. Definitely by the last couple of days, I'm like, I can't keep listening to you talking about the stain on the cabinets that we're going to do in 4 years. So I understand Jake's show being your outlet and sending some money to him. And if you are actually a doctor, then, $5 here, $10 there, it's not going to hurt your account. So you're fine.
I'm retired, Dr. Joe, but I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. Thanks.
I'm not married, Doc, so I can't give you advice. You know, I'm not qualified. Joe Blewett and anyone married in the chat, they could weigh in.
No, it's all good. I was just trying to mix it up on a Wednesday. None of that really happened.
I love it. Well, I
appreciate
like your support. Tell your wife that you're always good. The whole Doc family is good with me.
It's a pleasure. Did you like the game last night? Did you watch it? The
WBC. Yeah, it was great. It's unfortunate the U.S. team really never got the bats going the whole tournament. Like they hit against Great Britain and Brazil, and that was really all they did outside of like a couple big innings here or there. So that was disappointing because they had chances, but Venezuela's really good. They pitched well, give them credit. They beat Japan. Like they're a legit power.
Yeah, Buster Olney had a good take on the game yesterday. He said if the game had been played in July, right now, Major League bats, they're a little bit behind the pitchers, particularly power pitchers that Venezuela threw out there. They might have scored a whole lot more runs against them in the DR. So, but it's having coached in international tournaments, it's the greatest thing ever because you're lumped with teams that don't necessarily speak the same language as you, but they all speak the language of baseball. It's a blast. So anyway, thanks. Keep up the good work. And everything with my wife is fine. I promise you.
Tell her to call it and we'll talk to her.
No.
Doc Jet fan checking in. Well done. What do we got here? And it was Luppy's birthday as well. It's a great point. Happy belated again to the Luppman we celebrated yesterday. Leopold gifted a membership to himself. He hit the join button and put himself on the raffle.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back though.
All right, let's do a couple more calls here. Let's say hello to Ron, who's up next on our show today. Hello, Ron.
Hey, Jake. How you doing? Hey, guys. I liked Mel's take on the Jets picking Simpson at 16. He said what I've said to you before about, you don't have a quarterback. You might as well take a stab at one. The difference is if you hit on it, next year's 3 number ones now, if you hit on it, say if he starts last half of the season and he's good, we don't need a quarterback next year. Now you have 3 picks next year that other teams are going to want to move up to get quarterbacks and whatnot. And you're talking about being able to parlay that into who knows what kind of future. That's an if, yes. But what would be the difference if we picked another linebacker at 16 or a safety or something to where if you hit on the quarterback, I know I say this a lot, but that's the key right here. Or otherwise, like I've said before, we're having the same conversation next year. I'm just saying that I like Mel's take on that, saying, hey, you got to keep trying until you get one. And I agree with that. So just seeing how you guys feel about that.
Ron, good call. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, he still has to be worth the pick, though, right? Like you don't want to force it to force it. I get wanting to take a swing on a quarterback, but let's say Ty Simpson wasn't in this draft. I personally feel like at 16, I wouldn't love it, but I'd understand the swing. I think he's worth the pick if I had more confidence in the coaching staff, but I don't, so I'm not super willing. But like if he wasn't in this draft, are you just going to swing on a Lar there? Like at what point is it a force? So they still have to have faith that Simpson can be the guy. You don't just swing to swing necessarily. That was like a 5th, 6th round pick. Yeah, it's fine. Take a swing. It is what it is. Burn the pick. But a 1st round pick is obviously not something you just burn, right?
Like I get the thought process. Keep drafting a quarterback till you have one, but there's levels to that. You can't just burn the 16th overall pick. Like that's a poor use of an asset. They got the 16th pick in this year's draft because they traded an all-pro corner. Like you got to turn that into a player that is going to be here for a while. If you believe in Ty Simpson, that's one thing. But here's my thing too, and I said this earlier. Darren Muji doesn't need to take a quarterback, in my opinion, this year. I think they'll draft someone at some point if they don't do it in the 1st round. Or they'll do it on day 3 if they don't do it in the 2nd round. But I don't think anyone's like, you have to come away from this draft with your long-term answer at quarterback. We all have our eyes, and rightfully so, on the 2027 class where the Jets are positioned with 3 first-round picks for that year. If Muji were to take Simpson at 16, he's starting the clock on his timeline for that decision. He doesn't need to make this decision now. He could use that pick and get a player that could help build up the team. So eventually that quarterback is walking into a situation that's a lot better set up for him to be successful. Imagine they take Mekhi Lemon at 16, then a year from now, Arch Manning is throwing the ball to Lemon, Garrett Wilson, A.D. Mitchell, the offensive line they have. Like I tell you, you got to look at it. If you're Muji, you don't need to take that swing now. No one's saying you have to do it. The pressure's not on you to do it.
Yeah, like you don't want to force a pick when you're trying to save your job, right? Because if you're forcing the pick and you don't really like Simpson and he doesn't work out, like obviously you're going to be judged for that. So you still have to have a level of faith in the quarterback you're grabbing, or not even level of faith. You need to have conviction that he's going to be the guy. If you're taking him at 16, you don't want to just swing the bat that early. And like you said, build up the roster for next year. If you don't like the quarterback, but I think Simpson should be in that range. It's just I don't have a ton of faith in, again, who's developing.
Let's see. Hey, shout out to Leopold 44699. Let's go subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. We are one subscriber away from 44,700. So appreciate you, Leopold. Thanks for your support. Sam writes in, what pick would Simpson be in the Bo Nix or the 2023 draft class? That's a really good question. Joe, you studied these guys a lot closer than I did. It's tough to say because, again, Ty Simpson's played 15 career games. I think if he was in a class that had 5 quarterbacks go in the top 15, I don't think he goes in the first round that year. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't like. So transparently, that year we had Rodgers, so I wasn't looking a ton into those quarterbacks because we weren't going to grab them. But I don't know, man. Like JJ, I feel like both JJ. The problem with that draft is McCarthy and Bo Nix, in my opinion, were overdrafted. Like JJ, from what I saw at him in Michigan, I don't think he was really a top of the first round guy, top half of the first round guy, and same thing for Bo Nix. But it all depends on who needs quarterbacks and how high of picks there are. So I could argue for him over Nix or over McCarthy. That's honestly on less information than I probably should have, though.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We have over 400 people in here, but only 170 likes. So if you could take 2 seconds and click the thumbs up button, that helps the YouTube algorithm find the show for more Jet fans to be a part of our community. Let's do a couple more calls here. Let's say hello to Derek, who's next today. Hello, Derek.
Hey, Jake, Joe. How are we doing today, guys?
What's up, Derek?
Not a lot. Joe, you do such a great job, man. I really appreciate all the time that you put into this. It's really well done. I was just kind of wondering what your ceiling on the Jets win total would be this year, first off.
Yeah, it's obviously hard to know with like exactly who's going to be healthy, what the teams look like at that point. Ceiling, like if I'm being realistic, I want to say it's probably like 8 wins. You know, I would say I kind of expect anywhere from like 5 to 8 wins. So I think living in a realistic world, it's probably about 8.
Yeah, it's tough to tell before the draft and stuff. I was wondering if there's a QB2 and wide receiver 2, whom I think we desperately need out there right now. If you had to take your choice at any of both of those, who would you be going right now?
Well, quarterback too, Andy Dalton just got traded for a 7th round pick, I believe. So yep. I think it's probably going to end up being Carson Wentz, unless they're going to swing a trade for like Will Levis, which was a rumor the other day. You know, I don't think it's anybody to really write home about. Maybe it's Tyrod Taylor. I know Joe Flacco's out there. So gun to my head, it's probably Wentz with some of the connections that we've heard about Wentz and the Jets. And then receiver 2, really the only guy out there is Juwan Jennings. But the problem is, I think he had like 700 yards last year in 15 games. So I think you have to overpay him. I think he's more of like a receiver 3 who's going to get paid as like a high end 2 because of what free agency is. So I think probably what the Jets do is add a receiver 4 before the draft, and then they go into the draft and grab their receiver 2.
Yeah, I would love I think this wide receiver room desperately needs a veteran voice in the room. Yeah. And then lastly, one more quick thing. If you had to take a guess right now with Geno as our starter throughout the whole year, if you had to guess like what his yards and touchdowns would be, where do you think you'd be at with that?
Yeah, I said before, 25 touchdowns, 15 picks, and like 3,700 yards is what I would guess is Geno Smith's style. And now obviously there's a lot to happen before then, right? Like, do we get Lemon? Do we get Tate? Maybe it goes up. If it's Denzel Boston as receiver 2, maybe I drop those numbers a little bit because I'm not the biggest fan of Boston, but I feel like somewhere right around there, 22nd best quarterback in the league, nothing you're going to write home about, but good enough not to make the Jets abysmal this year.
Nice. I'd like that very much. I think I'll take the rest off call, guys, but I hope you and our fellow Asmaniacs have a great rest of your day, guys. Jets, Jets. Let's go, baby.
Derek, appreciate the call as always, my man. Hey, how about this? Invader Zin, ZYN gifting 5 channel memberships.
Money does not grow right here. Money don't grow here. Oh, look, it's Kip Winger.
Invaders in the raffle for 5. Quick update in the madness that is Asmaniac madness. This one is still pretty close, folks. leading 58-42. A very good performance by the 16th seed Jay Graves. Tomorrow morning on our show, the 8-9 battle in the region. Jordan versus Amanda Madison. Tomorrow afternoon, we got the wagon, Chuck Wagon, in action against Paul Faz in the 5-12. We've made our way through the top left of our bracket, the bottom left of our bracket. Now we do the right side, the opening round of 64 for the extraordinary region and the grown ass man region. Joe Blewett, who was your champion in your bracket?
It was Clifton. That's who I had winning, and I just saw that. Yeah, the beast. So the beast is done, which is surprising.
Renzo. Yep, went down.
Really?
Leany one punched him, and that was it.
Yeah, that hurts my bracket a little bit because I think I had him going to the final four, so I'm probably out of it now with that big of an elimination. But here we are now. I have no chance.
Well, let's check in with the beast, see how he's doing.
I'm putting icy hot on my back. This will take off the pain and the blemishes.
Hell, stop.
Beast?
Right now, I'm reading the ads in the papers.
It doesn't look like you're reading a paper, though.
Here. Nothing new.
Hey, Beast, come over here.
I'm doing lots of reading.
Now, that's a man's man right there.
All right.
Oh, how do I get?
Yeah. Look at that coin slot.
There we go. There we are. There we go.
What's for dinner tonight, Beast?
I'm still finishing off a little bit of smoke butt.
What?
Smoked butt. Whose butt?
Smoke butt. Smoke butt on rye. It's Polish. Try it sometime. One of these days, Jake, I'm gonna take you to a Polish store. You're gonna get a kick out of it, and believe me, you're gonna love all the goodies that they got in there. Chicken cutlets, pork cutlets, Polish sausage, wedding sausage, fresh rye bread, punchki, kalachkis. They also got my nachalenka in there. They also got the orange zada in there. That shit will knock you for a loop.
Hey, Beast, is it true that your ass takes Visa, MasterCard, and American Express?
How about I just buy a t-shirt that just says, "The world thinks I got money growing up my culo"?
Smoked butt. So are you eating ass? Is that what you're saying?
No, this is lunch meat, you morons. Pay attention. If you want to insult Polacks, you're insulting one of the hardest hitting Polacks in all this world today. And just because I eat smoked butt and rye bread and Polish sausage, you guys don't have no balls.
Hey, Beast, Amanda's concerned you don't have a neck.
Oh, I got a neck all right. It's right here. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Forget about it.
I still want to know whose butt is smoked.
This is smoked butt. Smoked butt is delicious. You should try. Go to a Polish store. You'll just ask for smoked butt. Get a pound of it. It's good. Don't go to any of the expensive stores. They'll kick you in the ass around it too. That's why you learn to invest. If you don't use this, then you must be doing the other thing, because I don't know what to tell you. It's called call me freaking down. Down.
Thank you very much, Beast. Joe, your thoughts on what you just witnessed?
He told us to calm our freaky down, but he's the one eating butt. So
right.
Who needs to calm their freaky down? I'm still curious of whose butt it is. Pork butt, chicken butt, somebody else's butt. I'm confused.
Well, Joe, perfect way to let you go. All right. Well done, my friend. You killed it today. You fought through these StreamYard technology issues and you gave us a film review we'll remember for centuries.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the technical setbacks today. Hopefully I didn't run through the plays too quick. I know some people are like, I need to circle on a guy. I need to go a little bit slower. So I'm apologize for how quickly we went through them, but I don't want to get Jake flagged. So we expedited the review a little bit. I appreciate all the Asmaniacs. I appreciate you, Jake, as well. And then I'll be back normal slot next week and we'll do some Downs or Lemon or Tyson or whoever the hell we're doing. So I'll talk to you.
We're doing it. That is right. We are doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Joe Blewett. Let's go. Quick break. We're back with more.
Are you tired of grilling outdoors? Are you tired of having to go to the kitchen to cook?
Thanks to Beast's ultimate taste tool, my troubles are over. Sure, it's a little smoky, but who cares? Look, I even got a bucket to shit in so I never have to leave my room. Now you're cooking with butt.
Last chance to get in on today's program. I'm counting raffle names for a signed Joe Klecko helmet that we will raffle away to a lucky Asmaniac at the end of the program. Let's say hello right now to Barbarossa, who joins us. Hello, Barbarossa.
Hey, guys. Cheers. Happy Wednesday, Asmaniacs. So I wanted to just ask, I haven't heard a lot of talk about it. I have one Jets point, and then I got something funny I want to show you. The Browns have 2 picks in the first round. I think they have the pick 7 and the pick 20. What do you think about the Jets trading back and trying to pick up like either Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs? One of those 2 guys should be here or be there with the 7th pick. And I really haven't heard too much or seen too much about that. What do you think about the Jets' chances of being able to do that?
Well, the Browns, I just looked up where they officially are. They have the Jaguars pick, so it's pick 24. Cleveland's at pick 6. I'm okay with making a move up for Styles. I just don't think they'll be able to, because I think he's going to go 5 to the Giants. I don't think the Jets are going to be able to come up from 16 all the way to 5.
Yeah. All right, that does make sense. This second thing, this is kind of the main reason I called in Jake. I don't know if you know how popular you've gotten on Reddit, but every day now on the Jets subreddit, there is a post about your show. And
someone sent me the one earlier that it was like a whole thread. I was like, oh my God. It's crazy.
Dude, okay, maybe it's the same one. I screenshotted the funniest comments. Is it all right if I shared some of them with you?
Oh, please. Yeah, I think this is hilarious.
All right. So the first one, this had the most upvotes. Simple. Jake Asman looks like one of the ventriloquist dummies from the Dead Silence. And I looked that up. The dummy has brown hair. There's got to be a ginger dummy. I don't think there's one dummy in this, but it only had one picture. It kind of looked like you. It kind of looked like me too, if we're being honest. But it wasn't a ginger dummy, but I thought that was pretty funny. This one, this is a really good one. Jake's entire show is him exploiting absolute brain-dead individuals throughout the tri-state area. It's not done. I decided to tune in a couple of days ago while at the gym, and he had on some fat, gluttonous fuck talking about farts for 25 minutes. Who could that be? Who could that be?
You hear that, Beast? They love you on Reddit.
You're crazy or something. If money does not grow right here, money don't grow here. Oh, look, it's Kip Winger.
I can see why Reddit loves the show.
Yeah. And then the last one was, I don't actually hate Jake's Jets coverage. He has decent guests on occasionally, and I find it okay at times. Can he be very negative? Yes. What I hate is when he deviates from the Jets, playing annoying sound clips over and over like a 3-year-old with access to a soundboard. When he has guests battle each other over stupid non-Jet stuff, etc., that's when I immediately shut it off.
Good job.
So this motherfucker, this guy, Signature Dizzy 7280, doesn't like the moon landing debates that we have. He doesn't like any of this stuff.
I would challenge anyone that feels that way to find a show that does more Jet talk than this one. The first hour of each show is typically mostly Jets. It really is. Like, if people don't like the caller segments or some of the funny stuff that happens, you don't have to watch. The show is free. I just love that people take the Reddit to complain about something.
Oh, that's what Reddit is, man. It's just a forum for people bitching and about everything and anything. That's funny. I got into the show just watching the first part because I was like, I just want to learn about the Jets. But then once like you meet the characters, it's like that's the best. The best part is, as much as I love the team that's 3-14 with a coach whose superpower he didn't use last year, the best part of this show is everybody else and the meetups and the tournament. And the last thing I wanted to say is, speaking of tournaments, we know this is the number 1 tournament in the country, and the NCAA basketball one is number 2. But starting tomorrow, there's an awesome NCAA tournament as well. It's the NCAA wrestling tournament, and I would encourage anybody whose team got eliminated or who's bored to tune into ESPN. Friday night is the semifinals. It's awesome because it's split screen. You get to watch 2 wrestling matches at once. It's super entertaining. And then the finals are Saturday, and these dudes work really, really hard. A couple of them are football players. There's a couple of heavyweights. That all that play football, or like in the NFL, there's always guys that wrestled like on the line and stuff like that. So I just thought I'd encourage people, if they're bored or whatever, when the Jake Asman show isn't on and maybe your team got eliminated, tune into ESPN and watch another great tournament and watch real men like Beastbreaker and Gary, go at each other, right?
Who did you vote for? Did you vote for Jay Graves? You voted for Gary.
Oh, I voted for Jay Graves. I think she. They both are true to the Asmaniac spirit in different ways, I'll say. But yeah, I don't think I'll be voting for Gary at all this year. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, you're up in a couple, Barbarossa. I'm excited for your 7-10 against Jets Jesus in this region.
Me too. It's going to be a tough matchup. You got to respect your opponents. I wanted to say I love the detail Gator did the pictures on these, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the detail he puts in is incredible because he's got the gaming chair I sit in, the sweater I wear, and the plant that's behind me, like all accurate. So Gator, hats off to you, man. This I pour this one out for you, buddy. All right. So cheers, everybody. Thank you, Jake. Thanks for the time. Take care, Asmaniacs, and may the best Asmaniac win.
Asmaniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
Great call there by Barbarossa. We got a battle right now. 58-42. Gary's leading, but Jay Graves making this competitive. Love to see it. All right, I got time for 2 more calls. Then we have the raffle. So make sure you get in if you want a chance to win the Klecko helmet coming up shortly. Here we go.
Hello, Jake.
Kyle Clifton, how are you, sir?
Doing well. I was very entertained by Doc Jets fan's story about the Super Chats because I live in mortal fear of that with Mrs. C as well. And heaven forbid if she ever finds out how much it cost me to frame up some of those jerseys. Oh, man, it's all going to be over for old Kyle. That's too funny. I mean, to Barbarossa's point, I would love to be able to go back, but and 20 is the spot where you might be able to grab a guy that some of these other teams value a little bit differently. Like one of the guys is the top 18 or 19 on your board, and that's kind of where the sweet spot is in this draft. You and I have kind of talked about it. I just don't know. I mean, it would have to be a guy that loves love, or was committed to get it, a team that was committed to getting Reese, and we were probably split in the war room over Reese and Styles, and in order for us to just go back a little bit, 33 is that pick we're going to trade, like, especially like we've been saying, if Simpson, we don't expect he would be there. If he were there, to me, you run up the card, because then it's 2 things, right? It's the money in the contract, and it's the opportunity cost. I think it's you're giving up the opportunity to trade and maybe get sort of a fringe first-round player, but to take a shot at a quarterback there and not be tied to him at the big money is kind of, the juice is worth the squeeze to me. I can't wait. I'm so jealous of you guys that are going out to Pittsburgh. I love the draft every year. This is my happy time. I'm waiting for Dame Brugler's Beast to drop.
The Beast.
Yeah, it's the greatest. I like all the mocks every day, and all this the content that we see on YouTube from you and the other creators. This is the happiest time of the year. You can take Christmas and shove it, man.
I love that you love the draft, Kyle. I love the passion.
Well, that's the only thing most Jets fans have, right?
That's it.
I'll talk to you soon, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, the number 1 seed in the tournament.
It's Jets, Jets. I love Fireman Ed, too.
I'm pumped for the draft, man. Come out to Pittsburgh and have some fun with us. The Jets can't lose that night. Technically, I mean, if they took Ty Simpson at 2, I think we'd have a very interesting evening, but we're going to have a blast, I promise. McFadden's is an awesome layout. We're right next to where all the action is. The draft is free to attend, by the way. Like, you can just literally get a ticket through the NFL. So you could go to the draft. We're going to be there during the day. Take the day off from work. Come out to Pittsburgh. And I'll be doing a live show during the day on that Monday or that Thursday, excuse me. And then after the Jets make their picks, we'll go live when I get back to McFadden's, and we'll break down what they do. If you want to come to the party, that's free as well. All you need to do is just hit the RSVP link in the description. In fact, I'll post it in the live chat right now for people. All right, one more call, and then we'll get to the raffle because I'm counting the raffle names as we speak. Let's say hello to a man who always could give us an up-close and personal take on where things are with the Jets.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hey, Mr. Jake.
Hey, Mr. David.
Hey, I hope I can change it up a little bit. Talking about the MetLife venue and the field as opposed to the old school Shea Stadium. I mean, MetLife, it's always been a topic, with the injuries and everything. But I come from back in the day, with they basically played on a baseball field. So I'm just wondering, I don't know if you can compare it. Which surface, MetLife as opposed to Shea Stadium, is better for the players, with injuries. I mean, MetLife, I'm thinking, they get the cleats get caught up in the turf and all that kind of stuff. But Shea Stadium, there's a lot of give and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of been on my mind. I don't know if it's a legitimate question, but I thought I'd ask you.
Typically prefer grass fields, David. That's what they've all said that I've interacted with or I've heard players be asked about it. They all prefer to play on grass than artificial turf.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it only makes sense to me. I'm thinking with MetLife, the cleats get caught up, and that can, the knee injuries, the Achilles, and all that kind of stuff. But I thought I'd ask you. I hope you don't mind.
I would never mind any question you ask me, David.
Thank you, sir.
Can I ask you a question?
You sure can.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Max, and good for you. I mean, you beat your brother. I know your brother was rooting for you, but we're moving forward, and you're a good guy, Max.
Good job.
Good job.
David T, you're a legend.
Thank you.
I got my eye on you. Checkmate me full screen. It's fireball whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great David T. Speaking of great, Papa Jet 73. The name 73, the number in the name, that's because of Joe Klecko. He just entered the Joe Klecko raffle coming up shortly. Tomorrow on the show, Matt O'Leary will join us in his weekly spot, so I'm certainly looking forward to that. Just a quick plug, reminder to anyone who wants to take the show on the go. We offer it as a podcast, audio form, Spotify or Apple. Just search The Jake Asman Show, and you can listen back to anything you might have missed. I'm just about set for the Asmaniac raffle. Today, we got a prize unlike any other. It is a prize featuring a signed Joe Klecko helmet. So, before we spin the Wheel of Champions, we first must bring on the master of raffle ceremony.
Well, I got some good deals, and we got some more bargains. Let's see, who can I do today? Hey, this is Ash from Army of Darkness telling you right now. Get in line because it's time for somebody to spin the Wheel of Champions. And remember,
Shop smart. Shop S-smart. You got it? Now let's spin that wheel. 1, 2, 3.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac Raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beast, thank you. Mike Dems, before we play the raffle music, he's in the raffle for one. He gifted a membership.
And here we go. Let's go. Let's go.
Hit the music. Here we go. Mike, thank you for your tremendous support. The raffle went to, or the gifted membership, by the way, went to Mr. Leany. How about that? Leany's husband who's tuned into the show. And now he's a channel member. All right, these entries are the first show this morning and the show that you're watching live right now. I want to thank Brian Morales, who gifted after we spun the wheel yesterday. I said I'd put him in today, so his $10 super chat, he's in here for 2. That's our guy, Chef Brian. I also want to make sure that I shout out Josh Brodkin, who signed up for the Patreon for the year, earning 10 raffle tickets as well. Okay. Here we go. Good luck to everyone. Thank you all for your support. If you win, please email me, asmanjake@gmail.com, your name and address so I know where to send your Klecko autographed helmet. Good luck to all. But the winner is... Frank P. Congratulations to Frank P. Hit the jet chat. Frank, a longtime supporter of the show, he gifted 10 memberships on the first show earlier today and has won himself a signed Joe Klecko helmet. Frank, congrats. I have your info, so I'll take care of that for you. You'll be all set. All right. That does it for me. Big thank you to everyone who tuned in. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Couldn't do it without this community. You guys are the best. We're back at it tomorrow for a Thursday with Matt O'Leary in the morning and DT Dylan Terriman in the afternoon. But before we get out of here, we got to close voting. Our first battle inside the extraordinary region. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner is... The winner is Gary 3D Boxing. Gary wins 58-42. 468 votes were cast. Congratulations to Gary. A valiant effort by Jay Graves. But Gary moves on. Fresh off a trip to the Final Four a year ago, it's Gary 3D Boxing off to the round of 32. Who will Gary play? Well, we find out tomorrow morning. Amanda Madison, the 9 seed, against the number 8 seed, Jordan. That will be the battle. Your votes determine who advances, and we'll do that tomorrow a.m. Again, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thank you for watching. You guys are truly the best. I mean that. And I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. As always, let's go Jets. And in honor of Gary winning, enjoy this one on the way out of here. Give us a little moonwalk.
I can't. I got the ankle. Oh, do you not know what happened?
No. Did something happen recently?
Yeah, when I was in New York, I got hit by a car.
Is there security footage of this? Can I play it on the show?
So they would probably have the footage. I mean, what am I going to do with it now?
Gator's already working on a production of this. So
yeah, I think that's why I didn't want to bring it up.
I'm going to play a drop, and then that's your cue to make a face like you got hit by a car. You ready?
All right, I'll do it.
Here we go. Ready? And Gator writes in, can he throw the headset off and vomit?
Now there's a gas station over here. I'm gonna go get some pizza and see if they have any butter to put on it.
You could have died.
But I didn't.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you gotta make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.